Good morning. This is Livestream number 56. You can save our democracy. Come join us. Grab your coffee. Here we go. Good morning, Steve Kikoen, Stephen Witt, Robert Joseph, Don Peterson. Good morning. Good morning, Sandy Wan, Jim Lamberson. Hey, good morning, Pete. Tyler St. Clair, good morning. Tim Schiller, good morning. Norman Weingarten, good morning. Rick David, good morning. Harriet, Dorinda, good morning. Nick Mozak, good morning. John Howard from Boston, thanks for joining.
Hey, Clay Taylor.
called justice rolling down the track. There's a train called justice that's rolling down the track. When you hear that whistle blow and you know it ain't turning back. Well, there's a lady named Liberty. She's weeping on the shore. There's a lady called Liberty. She's weeping on the shore. Here comes a train called Compassion. She won't be crying anymore. Well, there's a train called Diligence. We're all getting right on board. There's a train called Diligence. We're all getting right on board. When the train reaches the station, integrity will be restored. Well, there's a place I call equality, somewhere on the map. But there's a place called equality, somewhere on the map. Our GPS is badly broken, we need to load a better map. There's a train I call democracy. She's roaring like an eagle bird. There's a train called democracy. She's roaring like an eagle bird. She soared like an eagle bird. From the streets, on the ballot, in the mail, in the booth, our voices will be heard. And there's a train to unity. Can't get there too soon. There's a train to unity. Can't get there too soon. It shouldn't be so hard. It's not very far. We've already made it to the moon. There's a river of love flowing through our veins. There's a river of love that's flowing through our veins. Only love will get us there as we ride those freedom trains. Only love will get us there as we ride those freedom trains.
All right. Love will get us
Why
there.
do I always laugh? Why do I always laugh after I do a piece of music?
Because it's
There's
joyful.
gotta be a reason for that.
It's joyful.
So anyway, now, for many, many, many lifetimes, the news tells us all the problems in the world and all the troubles, but they very rarely tell us what an individual can do about it. So, today, we're going to get technical. Because I know people have concerns. But there's something we can do about it, each one of us, and there's things we should know that are there. And so today we welcome our outreach manager from Common Cause, Illinois, who really has some great information for you. This is informational, technical, but really, really important stuff. I'm sure there's something he's going to tell you that's going to be a surprise. So we're going to play this video, but do you want me to read this out, or do you want to read the intro?
Sure.
Okay, Holly's going to read.
All right.
Read about our guest, Zoomer. A Zoomer, not a boomer, a Zoomer.
We're the boomers. He's
Yeah,
the Zoomer.
yeah, I think we're all Zoomers now.
Maybe we're all, yeah.
Yeah, so we're
Tyler
gonna.
St. Clair, he joined Common Cause, Illinois, in February of 2020 of this year, right before everything hit, right, everyone? Stepping into the role of outreach manager. What incredible timing, Tyler St. Clair.
New job.
His primary responsibilities include community outreach and engagement, volunteer recruitment, hello,
Well, that's what this is about.
and the
yeah.
creation of programming to pursue campaign priorities. Prior to joining Common Cause Illinois, Tyler worked on multiple campaigns advocating for the environment and public health. Who doesn't love the environment and health? Taking him from Indiana to Iowa and finally Maine, where he coordinated a statewide campaign to protect the air that we breathe. Tyler received his bachelor's degree from the University of Evansville and most recently received a Master of Public Administration degree from Auburn University with a focus in election administration. He has studied and worked on issues pertaining to the administration of elections in the United States as well as abroad, serving as an international observer for the 2019 presidential elections in Nigeria. So we'd love to welcome Tyler St. Clair.
Hi, Tyler. You're looking good today, Tyler. So, this is some technical stuff, but it's stuff you really want to know. I know that. Okay, Tyler, take it away.
Hi, my name is Tyler St. Clair, and I am the outreach manager here with Common Cause Illinois. Well, thank you very much for bringing me on to do this. if you're not familiar with Common Cause, we are a nationwide organization that focuses on nonpartisan civic engagement around the good governance and democracy realm. Some of the issues that we focus on are voting in elections, gerrymandering and representation, ethics in government, money in politics, media and democracy, and constitution, courts, and other issues. Founded in 1970, one of the core principles of Common Cause is that as more eligible Americans participate, our democracy becomes stronger. In fact, in 1971, we led the campaign that won the 26th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, allowing 18-year-olds to vote. Today, Common Cause is working to win campaigns to modernize elections, making them more fair, secure, and accessible, with things like automatic voter registration laws and same-day registration at polling places on Election Day. We're ensuring security and fairness at the ballot box by demanding paper backups and post-election risk-limiting audits to detect foul play early. Common Cause is really at the forefront of, again, this good governance and democracy realm, and fighting to make sure that we hold power accountable at all levels of government, and that everyone in our community has a voice in how their community is run.
It seems like we're really divided, but when it comes down to the things that are important, we are not. We're on the same page on these things. So maybe if you could speak to some of those things.
Sure. So I think that brings up a really good point as we talk about sort of the state of the country, really the state of the world. And, again, talking about the November election, talking about the general election, and the extreme sort of partisan divide we see in the country. And this is a reason why I think the work that we do at Common Cause is so important. Among our issue areas, ethics in government isn't controversial. It's wildly popular among voters in both parties. Getting big money out of politics, stopping dark money groups and ending the revolving door is wildly popular among voters of both parties. Making our elections easier to vote and making them more accessible, making them safe and secure, popular among voters across ideological lines. So again, the reason I see Common Cause's work is so important in 2020 and again, leading forward is that the issues that we work on and the fact that we, sort of tackle them in a nonpartisan fashion, bringing together voices, as many voices as possible, is really crucial to how we operate as an organization, as well as to how we accomplish the work we do. For example, here in Illinois, we work with the Just Democracy Illinois Coalition, a coalition that's made up of a variety of different sort of civic engagement and community groups that focus on a host of different issues. But what we do is we focus on our collective issues from a nonpartisan lens, which I think gives us a really unique perspective and sort of a unique island to stand on amid this sort of swirl of partisan divide, which again, I think makes Common Cause a really unique actor and really powerful actor as we go through the rest of the year and figure out what, the roadmap for 2020 and 2022, what that looks like. And so I think that's really the unique and powerful position that Common Cause finds itself in today.
I'll just say that 11 years ago, I was not happy with a lot of the things that were happening then, like the Iraq War and these types of things that I was not pleased about. And instead of throwing a shoe at the TV, which is useless, and jumping up and down in the living room, this really gave me a sense of accomplishment and forward movement and being able to actually be involved in getting things done. And I think that is important to dispel, as Corky was saying, that feeling of hopelessness or powerlessness. It empowers people. And
take off on that and maybe talk about the national, situation that all of us are freaking out about, and how Common Cause is actually helping us, and how Common Cause could use our help.
So the easiest way to get in contact with one of our state chapters or our national chapter is to simply go to commoncause.org. From the landing page, you'll be on our national page, which will talk about all the different initiatives we work on, list a bunch of our campaigns and all the different work that we're doing. You'll also be able to go to your state page. Again, Common Cause, it currently has offices in 30 different states. But again, our work spans the entire country. We don't have, for example, we don't have a physical office in Kentucky, but I know we do work in Kentucky. We do work in Indiana. We do work all over. So if you want to get involved, again, the easiest way is to go to commoncause.org and either contact us through there or go to your state page. Another way, if you're interested in getting involved right away, is to go to protectthevote.net. Through protectthevote.net is a way that you can sign up to volunteer for election protection. And what happens is when you enter your personal information, depending on your state of residence, you will be then funneled to one of our staff members living in that state, who will then reach out to you to sort of follow up on the different volunteer opportunities that are available with election protection. So those would probably be the easiest ways to get in touch with Common Cause. And again, we're always looking for people who are interested in our work, who are interested in getting involved, and we appreciate all the help we can get. There's a lot of important work going on between now and November 3rd, and way past November 3rd, right? Time doesn't end at midnight, November 4th. And it'll take all of us to make sure that we're fighting for these important reforms to hold power accountable here in the United States.
Let me just say about that we talk about hope, and it sort of leaves us with a sense of hopelessness, which is interesting. So the real question is, and Holly and I learned this, when we decided to work with Common Cause starting 11 years ago, is that when you do something, you don't have to deal with the concept of hope. You're doing something to fix the problem, to make things better, to continue with the good fight. Yeah.
Thanks.
We are at a pivotal moment in American history in how government relates to how it serves the people. Election protection is a natural extension of our work in the democracy realm and in voting in elections, in making sure that our elections are run, again, as safely, securely, and accessibly as possible. We work with volunteers across the country in all 50 states to make sure that we have in-person poll monitors that are monitoring for any issues that we find at polling places, whether polling places maybe don't open on time or they don't open at all. Are there equipment issues that we need to flag for election officials or for legal professionals? Are there voters who just have questions about the process? Again, going back to voter education, there have been a lot of changes this year. And through our election protection program, we serve as a resource for voters. Maybe they need to find their polling place. If their polling place is closed, where do they need to go to cast a ballot? Are they experiencing long lines? Are there other issues that we just don't know about yet that we need to flag? And so we have the in-person poll monitoring piece of this. This year, we're also adding a social media monitoring presence to our election protection program, which we're very excited to roll out. Obviously, COVID-19 has had an unprecedented impact on the way that we administer elections and the voter experience when it comes to participating in elections. So the social media monitoring volunteer position was made to adapt to this new reality so that volunteers, if they don't feel comfortable going out into the field, standing in long lines in crowds around other people, they can help us monitor our elections from the safety of their own home. This includes monitoring social media platforms like Facebook or Twitter or Nextdoor or Reddit to see if there are any problems in your communities. Are people tweeting about long lines? Are people posting on Facebook about an issue with voting early? Are people spreading misinformation or disinformation about voting in the state of Illinois or across the country? Those are things that we want to be able to flag, again, so that we can send those up the pole to professionals who can help us identify and deal with those problems in the correct manner. Another thing I want to talk about is how voting by mail is a safe, secure, and accessible way to cast your ballot this fall. Again, in response to COVID-19, a question that a lot of us were grappling with was how do we make sure that voters can cast their ballot safely and securely and not have to risk their public health in order to do so. And so vote by mail was seen as sort of the silver bullet for addressing some of these policy and implementation problems. So the first thing I'd want to address is that voting by mail is a safe and secure way to cast your ballot. Despite what you might hear in the news cycle or on social media, claims that voting by mail will lead to widespread fraud or that it disproportionately benefits one party over the other. Neither of these claims are based in any sort of reality. Vote by mail is, again, an incredibly safe and secure way to cast your ballot. Voter fraud in the United States in general is already exceptionally low, and voter fraud among absentee ballots, again, is infinitesimally small. There is no basis of fact to the claims that voting by mail increases voter fraud or that it disproportionately benefits one party over the other.
So people are, they're freaking out because of the election. After the election, we may very well need common cause more than we ever have in our lives. Or we may need common cause more than we ever have in our lives. In other words, whichever way the election goes.
Right,
We're still going to need common cause more than anything. So it doesn't matter in the sense of the relationship of us and common cause, what happens. We're going to need you guys no matter what happens. And by the way, we needed you for the last 50 years as you had our backs and protected our democracy. And we could have done a better job at helping you out, in every way we could. So I wanted to mention that, we got this election coming up and this stuff is happening, but we're always going to need truth to power. We're always going to need fair elections. We're always going to need ethics in government. We're always going to need that.
So as I've said a couple different times, we have a pivotal election coming up on November 3rd, right? But, the sun's going to rise on November 4th, one way or another. And organizations like Common Cause who are doing this work around fair, safe, and secure elections are important. Around having a government that's ethical in its behavior are important. Around, making sure that money doesn't rule our politics and instead that citizens rule our politics. Organizations like Common Cause are going to play a huge role. And by proxy, our volunteers and those who support us are going to play a huge role in the direction that this country moves in, one way or the other, regardless of who wins the election in November. For example, here in Illinois, the elections reform package that was passed back in May actually sunsets as of January 1st, 2021. So we have a lot of ground that we have to make up, that we have to fight for again. Ethics will always be a government issue. Money in politics will always be a government issue. Gerrymandering will always be a government issue. And making sure that our communities are equitably represented will always be a fundamental issue in making sure that our government and our country is as representative of our communities as it can be. So, the election is important, don't get me wrong, but we're in this fight for the long haul. There are a lot of fights ahead. And again, I feel like a broken record is like keep sort of, beating a dead horse, but we need everyone that is interested and willing to join us. We need that public support. We need your support. We need your effort. We need your grit. We need your strength. We need your passion to make sure that, after November 3rd, regardless of what happens, that we're going to continue fighting for these issues because Common Cause will keep fighting for these issues past November 3rd and well into the future.
That was a
So at the national level, Common Cause is actually a leader, again, in the good governance and democracy realm, again, fighting to hold power accountable, right? At the national level, we've been involved in a number of different legal challenges. We are very active in serving sort of, as this barrier between the dangers of an administration that continually tries to violate government and ethical norms. And our national staff have done a great job at making sure that we are doing all we can to protect democracy and hold power accountable here in the country. And our staff is great. We do a lot of good work, but we're also only the staff, right? We can only be in so many places at once. And so one of the things that Common Cause relies on, and has always relied on, is the people power, right? We rely on our volunteers who put in countless hours in making sure that their elected officials know that, we need more ethical government. We need money out of politics, and making sure members of Congress know that we need to fund the Postal Service, that we need additional funding for census enumerators to get out on the streets and make sure our communities are counted. We have people, calling into the Senate to make sure we have a fair Senate nomination process and that we have an impartial judiciary, which has long-ranging impacts far past whenever the next Supreme Court justice is going to be nominated. So, at a national level, at a state and national level, we really rely on our volunteers to make sure that we're accomplishing our mission of holding power accountable. And that's why I would encourage anybody who's interested in these issues, again, in such a pivotal election year, reach out to us. Again, commoncause.org, whether it's through our national staff or commoncause.org/whatever state you happen to be living in. Reach out, tell us you're interested. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of really important work that we're doing, and we would be thrilled to have each and every one of you in this fight with us.
That's beautiful.
And then the other thing,
Beautiful.
the other thing, I'll address the hope question real quick. So I know a lot of people, and for good reason, sort of feel this general sense of dread and despair and hopelessness in 2020 with all of the craziness that's going on. I believe an asteroid is actually supposed to pass by the Earth in a couple of days, alarmingly close, which is sort of comically bad, I guess. But with everything going on, I think there are a lot of justified reasons for people to feel this general sense of hope, or hopelessness and despair. The first thing that I would say is I would turn that anxiety into action. No one is coming to save us. We have to do this work ourselves. And sometimes that's really difficult, right? There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of reasons why you might feel beat down some days. But it's up to us to fight for the change that we want to see in our country, in our government, in our communities, the way we want to be represented, the way that we want our government to behave, the way that we want money to influence our politics, if we want it to at all, the say that we have as citizens in the American government. It's up to us. No one's coming to save us. And so I would just, again, encourage everyone who's feeling any sort of sense of despair and dread, we're fighting this fight, and we would love to have you with us. And it's going to take all of us to fight for these really important changes. But again, we would be thrilled to have you join us, commoncause.org. Join us in this fight to fight for a country that is fair and just and equitable for all of its citizens.
That
say
was
this.
brilliant.
That was brilliant.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now-
Incredible.
Let me just ask.
Thank you. I just got to get warmed up, then I'm okay.
That was so good.
Okay, now that and Tyler, you're on. If you see a couple people asked a couple questions, you could
Yes,
go ahead and answer.
If you're there,
Yeah.
Tyler, I can
He's there,
I can look to bring you on camera if you want to answer a few questions.
Or you could answer in the comments.
And you can also answer in the comments. So if you write a comment, a question, Tyler can answer. And also, of course, we have our Zoom afterwards.
The Zoom afterwards. You could go to our page. Well, first let me say, the thing here is, we had the solution, and that is vote and get people to vote and get people to vote. But people want to do more than that. They want to feel like we have a little better chance at fairness coming through. And so that was in my mind when we brought Tyler on, because just voting and even getting other people to vote isn't quite enough when there's so much corruption being dumped on us right now. There's things we could do to prevent that. And Tyler mentioned the social media thing. We could actually stay in our home for an hour and watch a particular website, and then when we see misinformation, we could report it to the particular people's Common Cause steers us to, and they'll take that site down. There's some really amazing stuff that's going on that we could actually do to protect this election.
And also, Corky, if you can just mention how we were poll watchers. And
I said this in my, we mentioned this in our newsletter, that we were poll watchers one year, and we, Holly and I together, just spending a few hours at the polls, saved 160 votes.
Just us.
People were trying to send them away, and we had our little instructions of what to do, and we saved 160 votes. And now we could do that from home. You don't even have to go to the polls. Common Cause has arranged a way for this to work. So anyway.
Where's our stream, darling?
Our stream is corkymusic.com/stream. That's where you could find out where the Zoom is. And if there's a problem with Zoom, go back to the page a few minutes later and I'll update information, because sometimes Zoom doesn't work perfectly in people signing in. So you could join us on Zoom. I think Tyler might join us. and that's corkymusic.com/stream. And eventually I'm going to put up last week's live stream up. It's not up yet on YouTube, and we're going to be able to put this one up on YouTube, and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that's it. I'm going to play one more song.
And we'll see you at the Zoom. And Tyler will see you at the Zoom. So this will
is he
be
gonna join us?
this will be fantastic.
Okay. Okay, another political song. Not really political. This is really, anyway, you'll see.
One boat, no shore.
We need kindness. No room for hate anymore. There's no shore. We're all in one boat.
We sail, or we sink.
Don't matter what anybody thinks. There's no shore. We're all in one boat.
We are the captains
Who can steer this boat towards sweet, gentle waters to keep us afloat. With all our goodness, together and joyfully, we'll pour our loving hearts out for this democracy, 'cause we're all in the same boat, and there's no shore. Can't fool Mother Nature anymore. There's no shore. We're all in one boat. Ah, we're all in one boat.
See you on the Zoom. And where is it again, Corky?
CorkyMusic.com/stream.
Okay, see you there. Lots of love to everybody.
Thank you, Tyler. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you so much. See you in a bit.